Well, it doesn't help that I have absolutely nothing on. Well, it doesn't help that I have absolutely nothing on. Oh my gosh, why can't I select everything? I feel like I should start over. Oh, that's why. Why are you so far back? The fudge. I don't know why that works. It just does. Whatever. Actually gonna subdivide? Nope, it's not actually gonna subdivide. wonder if I should make it bigger though. If it's bigger, it'd look nice. Not just wait. I can goof that. Oof, I'll get confused. Oh my gosh, so many hooks. Do you really need these many hooks? I don't even know if it's gonna work. Timeline time. Let's make a whole bunch of pins for everything. You're too thick, my thick boy. You need to get a little less thick. There we go. Oops, I don't think I've pinned it yet. Oop. Oh my gosh. Derp-a-derp. Get rid of you waves. What? Oh, I guess I don't need that hook anymore. Question is, can it collide with other? I don't want it to collide with itself. That's going to be too heavy. But I do want it to not collide with other fabrics. I just turn on collision and let it happen. Because usually it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Something tells me this person doesn't. This dude doesn't like the one that's on top of. Bye. Okay. There is an easy fix for this, and that is turning off collisions.
Yo, who joined?
I just joined for a little bit. Probably won't be
Hey,
staying long.
meow, what's up?
Not much.
So, you were saying about something about the U asset. You want to send me the U assets of what you made, or don't you want to send the original FBX? I'm just curious.
New asset? Do you want that
The
FBX?
U asset? What?
Do you want that FBX?
Okay, I'm getting confused here now, meow. Have you made it or haven't you?
I have made it.
Okay, so how can you think about that I don't want it when I'm actually waiting on it because I would like to see how good it progressed?
No, but I'm confused. Do you want the FBX over the U asset?
I want both.
Okay.
That's common that you get both things, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just me there's something wrong with?
No, I think it's better for you just to get the U asset since you're not really going to be taking it out. Unless you want the blend folder so you can make your own rig afterwards.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's not the first time I hear about somebody saying, hey, you just need the U assets. I'm like, why don't I get the original FBS assets? Let's just say, for example, I have another one who's looking over the code, looking over what you made, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be logical that he will have your work to look at so he could...
It's because FBXs are a mess. No one should be using
It
FPSs, but the
it
industry
sounds more
uses
to
it.
me like you're afraid of that somebody's gonna somebody's like, if you made something illegal or something like that, that your neck is going to be hang out on or something like that, because that's not the case.
No, like honestly, I just don't like giving away.
Okay, look at this here. You're working on something that belongs to Vivanox, correct?
Well, technically, right now, as of now, it doesn't
technically
belong
it's
to you. It
Vivanox.
belongs to not
Technically it's
Daz.
Vivanox's. Yeah, but technically it's Vivanox's because it's something we bought from Vivanox, and Vivanox has exported it out so you could get your hands in it and working with it. So
Did
there's
it
no
cost you
technically
anything
that
to
is yours.
buy it for Daz?
What?
Did you buy it from Daz?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay. I thought it was one of the free ones because I could have sworn the majority of that stuff is the free Daz stuff.
I guarantee you it's not free. The only thing that's free on that character is Genesis 8. But it doesn't really matter if we have bought it or not. You're actually not obligated to know anything about that. The only thing you're obligated to is do the job, and that's period.
No, but like, I didn't get
Yes,
paid
that's
for
how
it, or I
is.
didn't sign anything.
Well, that's not entirely accurate.
You never gave me anything to sign. I even asked you to give me something to sign. You never got
I
around
sent
to
you the
it.
NDA, Meow. It's not my fault you haven't looked it over.
No, I haven't signed it, and I haven't given it back to you.
Is that how you want to play it, Meow?
No, I don't.
Is that how you want to play it with an attitude right now?
No, I don't. I'm just
Okay, so
I'm
in
just
the
giving
way,
you
the way
licensing
you're being right
things.
now, you're actually being like a little bully that's trying to show off. And if that's the case, well, fine by me. I don't have any problem with it.
No,
I
I'm
just want
just
to be sure if you want to pick a fight with me about that.
I'm just giving you some warning, like if someone else has the same
Warnings,
thing.
Meow. The only one who should get warnings here should actually be
Okay,
you.
not from me, like if someone else tried doing the same
Yeah,
thing.
but I don't need to get it from you or anybody else. Either you deliver the product that belongs to Vivanox or you don't. That's how simple it is. You got a problem with that? Too fucking bad.
Why did you cuss?
Because you're getting on my nerves on that one, because you're saying one thing and then like, nah, you just want this one, you don't want the other one. I'm like, if we pay for something, for example, if we pay for it, we
Okay,
want not
yeah,
only
I
the
will
U
give
asset,
you
we
the
want the
FPX.
FPX.
But like I'm telling you, you probably don't need it.
It doesn't matter if we need it or not. That's not in your position to think about that.
I'll give you the FPX then. You didn't demand for it. I was just explaining because I thought we were gonna have a debate. But you're like, nah, we're not gonna have a debate. I don't wanna have a
No,
debate.
we're not, because I'm getting annoyed about every time I'm trying to talk with you something about it. You always turn it to something else.
Okay, I'll just give
Sorry
it
for
to you
saying it,
then.
but that's just how it is, Meow, and I'm getting annoyed about it all the time. It's like when you said right now, well, the Dash, did you pay for that? Yeah, we paid for it, and how rude is it actually just to accuse me for not paying it?
No, that's not what I...
Basically between the lines, that's what you did.
No, I'm not saying that. Walrus, did I say that at all?
What were you saying then?
I was saying if someone else got their hands on it, I was wondering if the legal implementations, whether it is yours or not. I wasn't saying in my case because I was going to give it to you at the end anyway.
But that's not your concern when it comes down to it.
I was just curious.
Yeah, but
Did I say anything
like, okay,
else? That's like implying things. You're putting words into my mouth.
No, you are actually doing the same thing because you're curious about something. The same thing like when you've been saying to me, hey, I can't use my app because there's these problems here and these problems here. And the funny thing is, when it comes down to know about copywriting, if I didn't know it, do you think I would suggest it then? The problem is with basically Okay, let's take it from the top. Okay, Meow, you start out and I'm listening, okay?
Okay. This is how I understand it. I stopped working on your project because like I couldn't find out what was wrong with it, so I gave up on your project. And I was like, I'm not gonna work on it anymore.
Character, right?
Yeah, Alandia, the whole thing and everything, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna just wash my hands off of it because like it's like not able to handle projects anymore. And that's all I remember. I don't remember signing an NDA. I remember you were going to deliver the NDA. I might have signed it, I might not have, but I remember not ever signing it.
The NDA, if I recall correctly, was signed, and you were also being mentioned on the blog. You recall that? And I told you each time you did live streaming, even if it was not regarding Vivanox, we will still have your name put on screen sharing, on different posting on social media and things like that.
Okay, then I might have forgotten about that.
And one other thing was also I insisted on when you signed it that you could get paid for each character. What we didn't agree on was how much payment we were talking about, if it was 50, 100, or whatever it was. That we can agree on, there was no agreement there.
Yeah.
I still insist on that the thing you have been doing now, that you should get some kind of credit first and foremost, but also get some kind of payment. Don't get me wrong. I'll still... No, that's how I work, that's how the company works.
Yeah, that's nice and all, but like right now I'm not expecting any payment because it's not enough for me to get paid or anything like that. And that's why I'm saying I'm just doing it out of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry for saying it, I might be burning myself in the ass for this year. But when somebody tells me, hey, I can just delete the project. Well, I don't give a flying fuck. If you want to delete it. You can't threaten me in any way.
No, I was saying it because, like, if you don't want me in the project anymore, I could delete it. That's what I was thinking.
Nobody said that. You didn't even ask to join the project. The only thing you asked for was like, hey, send me over a character and let me have a look at it. We didn't even have any talks or an agreement about if you joined the project again.
I thought you wanted me to fix it.
It was you who suggested it, like, hey, let me look at it, maybe I can fix it. I was like, okay, and I asked you, are you up for it? And you said yes. The only reason I'm not bombarding you with messages all the time is because last time we spoke, you told yourself that you were worn out and you were having too many things on your plate, that you needed a time off. Or do I recall something wrong here?
I don't know, I just feel really confused right now. I honestly just feel confused.
You told me a week afterwards you were being put on the... Did he leave?
Huh?
Nah, I was Valvos. You told me about, what was it, about a week after I put you on, added you on the monthly blog that you couldn't work on the Alandia character, and you wrote to me directly that you were having too many things on your plate and you felt that you were burned out or worn out, whatever you want to call it. That was what you told.
I did.
You said that. Yeah. And because of that, I've been trying to be so respectful to you and like not bombarding you with anything of the work. Just like, hey, how are you doing? How are things going? You know, that's normally how I am.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But when you saw that character, when I showed you the screenshot I had, you were like, hey, can't you send one of them over? I was like, are you sure about that? Are you sure you're up for it? And the only thing you said was, yeah, sure, no problem, I can do that. I was like, okay, fair enough.
I don't have any problem with that. It's just, I was wondering why you got mad at me over mentioning the FBX thing. I was gonna give it to you either way, like, legit, I was gonna give it to you either way. I don't understand why you started the argument after that.
The reason I started the argument is quite simple. The last couple of times I've been asking for FBXs, and that's not only you, but that's also other people. They're like, nah, you just need the U asset, you don't need the FBX.
Yeah, I would have given it to you anyway.
Yeah, but I'm like, who are the ones who can say to me, who has the audacity to say to me, you don't need the FBX?
And I was just giving an explanation why I thought they thought that. Because you're the one that brought it up in the first place. And that's why I was confused and got upset.
Yeah.
Like, I was gonna give it to you anyway.
I went overboard too. I don't agree on that. I don't disagree on that one.
And I'm sorry I got mad. I wasn't gonna eat your project because of that. I thought you were threatening me, and that's why I was confused.
trust me, Meow, if I was threatening you, you wouldn't even sit there where you are now.
To be honest, you get really angry kind of quickly, so it's kind of hard to tell. Sometimes, not all the time.
I know, don't get me wrong, I know. I will also say one thing, it's not an excuse, but I haven't smoked cigarettes for about 6 hours. I do want to, but I'm trying to quit, so maybe that's also something that relates to my anger, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I know someone who's tried quitting too, it might actually be that. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry, you couldn't know, because I haven't said anything about
it.
But
I was more sorry, like, you thought I was trying to threaten you. I was not. I was, like, honestly just, like, backing off, because I thought you didn't want me in the project anymore, and that's what I understood it as. That's all.
I didn't say you were not welcome in the project. I'm more like you wanted to go, and I like said, well, you told me in a good way and said, hey, you were overburdened with things and you were worn out and all that, and I accepted it instead of, you know, I respect people more that come and explain that explains that to me than they're just like, you know, keeping me in the dark and not saying anything. It's easier to work with, at least when people, you know, keep you updated about the certain things.
Okay.
So that's one positive thing you did. Don't get me wrong, it is. But it's more like I've been having a lot of different issues lately with different 3D animators and riggers, and like most of them, they're like, no, you just need the U asset. You don't need FBX. And I'm like, it's my project. I can do whatever I want with it. You know, if I insist on having the FBXs included, then I'll insist on the FBXs.
Can I insist on also having the blend project as well then?
The what?
The blend project? The Blender project.
Yeah? What about that?
Because you probably want all three of them, the FBX, the blend project, and the U asset, right?
The funny thing is, when you say blend project, I'm thinking about blend spaces, and and those are not the same things.
No, I meant Blender.
Yeah. Because the way I have it is more like that. I know other people will ask like, hey, can we have a look at these ones here from another FBX so they have something to compare with? Not about copy pasting, but it's more like have something to compare it like a reference. And I find that understandable, but apparently many other riggers out there don't understand that. They're like, nope, I'm not giving away that, but hey, it's my models, we paid for it, it's ours, you can't even do anything with it. Not unless you pay the license fee on DAS. Hey, Mystics.
It's just a little weird. It's kind of weird to handle with a company that, like, I don't know.
If that's weird, then I would very much like to know why AAA companies are doing the same thing when they're trying to hire somebody. They insist on getting not only the assets they need,
no, not that. Like, the type of company you are is a little weird. It's not everything in general, it's just, it's a different type of thing, you know what I mean?
You mean we keep our, not our nose clean, but we trying to pay everything we can and keep our arrows straight?
No, not that. Like, you as a company is more software and like third-party oriented than a lot of other companies, and it seems like the company itself and the development team is mainly just programmers.
Basically,
and
yeah.
That's a little strange, if you don't mind.
The real reason for that is an animator slash rigger here in Denmark, you know how much they cost a month?
How much?
A normal salary here in Denmark, that would be around 1 sec. I'll just convert it to US dollars so you can get an idea of it. A normal standard work salary if you work at the grocery store or something like that, right? That would be around in $3,131.
Oh, okay.
That would be a normal standard salary if you worked at a grocery store, right? If I worked as a rigger, my price would be about 60,000, if not more. And that's around $9,000, 946. The freelancers are even much more expensive. That's the reason we want to work with freelancers that are outside the Danish soil. And also, if we can get anybody or any of them on our team and be there as a, you know, on a stable thing on the team, then we'll happily have that. But it's not that easy because everybody needs a rigger / animator.
Okay.
The same thing
Yeah,
goes
he's
to
right. If you
programmers.
wanted to put all your effort into learning something, learning rigging and animating will long term that's going to pay.
You know, I've been working on certain things for this project here from my mind for over 6 years now, and I'm like, it's a little old saying I heard one time: if you don't know how to swim, then you keep your fat ass out of the pool.
Then how are you gonna learn how to swim?
Well, I don't. Normally, it would be the most appropriate thing to do to learn how to swim, but oh, and of course, I do know how to swim. But when it comes down to the understanding certain things with rigging and animations, it's way above my pay grade. I don't have the basics understanding for it. Finally, he came back, and he's on the internet
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, after 23 hours, I finally have internet again.
You? Oh, Mystic.
No, not Mystic, Valros.
Alright. Oh.
Yeah, Valros. His internet. It went yesterday, and then he was like, no internet, and he had to use the cell phone.
Vision, you wanna know something funny?
What?
I forgot where I put all the folders because I was literally gonna just send it to you right now.
Mm.
But I might be leaving
Nope.
again
Nope.
because I need to go meet somebody. So
If she's good looking, then it's okay. If she's not, no way. Shame on you.
You know what? Mother
What?
Earth is always good looking. Can't argue against that, Vishnu.
Ooh, Mother Earth.
Yeah.
The way we're treating her right now, I wouldn't say she's good looking, but yeah.
There's still a lot of her that's kicking. Where did I put your project to fetch? Oh, I put it in Blender.
But
You
no, as you
took it
said
outside
before, Mystic, it's so much easier to learn things yourself. I agree. In normal circumstances, it is. I'm just of that point now. I'd rather pay somebody to do it. And when I have the company to backing it up, then that's just how things are, and that's just how we're doing things.
Yeah, man, you gotta do what you gotta do once you have the resources.
Yeah, but still, in a way, it's easier because sometimes 3D modelers and riggers, character artists, you know, even programmers, they have different way of seeing things that maybe I didn't see or somebody else on the team didn't see either. Then it's nice to hear their point of view when it comes down to it.
yeah. But you have the same point of view as a developer, right? Since
Nope.
you're an expert.
Oh,
That's the biggest files that they give over. Oh, it's too big. I'll just put it over. Oh, okay, it's already in there. Oh, you also want the U asset, right?
Hey?
Yeah. Or you don't want the U asset at all?
What do you mean?
You just want the FBX file, the Blender file. What do you want?
Do
I
you
watched
just
the
pack
video.
it all down as it is?
Huh?
Can you just pack it all down as it is? You know, one in FBX, one in Blender, and etc. etc.
Oh, okay. I'll put everything in it then.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, okay. I was like, no, I was occupied by reading that one there, so I want to send Butch that one, see if he can agree. Because Walrus doesn't eat them, so.
Okay, back to work then. I'll wait for stuff to upload.
best place to start with modeling is not character model. If you're going to jump into anything, use other models that are already set up and learn rigging and learn how to animate and bake out animations. That is the keystone set of skills for the gaming industry. All right, and in fact, for the movie VFX industry, to do all the rigging of all the little set scene stuff, fake people, it's all the same thing. You learn those two skills, you will eventually get work doing something in this industry. Those are guaranteed wins. That's like, being the guy that makes the hammer. You may not always need the hammer, but you'll always need the hammer. Somebody's got to know how to use the hammer. You know what I mean? Like, it's the core thing that has to happen. Misney, their team, you just said, they're paying for it because it's a keystone thing to get done. And some people can do it and do it well. Other people say they can do it and can't. And you get a lot more can'ts than cans in that particular part. If you want to be pro,
those who are so expensive that you don't even can afford to.
Right. So, I mean, it's easy to pick up. You don't have to use paid-for software. If you're using Blender, get GIMP. GIMP is the two-dimensional version of Blender. You can do anything you can imagine in 2D art. In fact, they're pushing for 3D there. But GIMP and Blender together in Unreal is a full pipeline start to finish for anything. So the part of the pipeline that's the most profitable is animation and rigging.
I can say this much. One thing I'm looking forward to see if it's ever going to happen, that would be Substance Painter for GIMP.
Substance Painter.
I tried actually Misney. I pushed them hard on the IRCs. I told Tom they need to get together with GIMP guys and make GIMP be this new, the new grease pencil features. Because grease pencil is essentially just coming at 2D like GIMP. So why rebuild the wheel when GIMP's had years of building it? If they could just make GIMP fill that gap, then it'd be the ideal.
Well, GIMP isn't really great when it comes to vector stuff, though.
Well, I already talked to them, and the only problem with it is that Python 2 versus Python 3, GIMP has not moved forward and is built on Python 2. Python 3 is what the Blender's built on. And because of that, they're too concerned with compatibility issues. They did consider it. I pushed hard enough that both teams were talking about it for a minute. I really wish that had happened. That would have been the ultimate software. But even separate, it's fine. It's good enough to do the...
Isn't Inkscape in the new Python, though?
Python's a coding language.
Yeah, Inkscape.
It's just software for art. So is what you're talking. Just like Krita. There's a bunch of different software for art, but GIMP is fabulous for general usage and will get 99% of anything I've ever needed to do for flat art done. Krita and other ones, though, the difference is, and they have added this to GIMP from the newest one, from what I believe, but what's nice about those is they're more geared towards people that are designing comic books and stuff, more of that style of art, pictorial art. And has color separators built in. CMYK color separation, super important for anything that has to be print ready. You can't just take an image and you can print it on your printer home, but on a professional printing press, your colors are separated. So you have to build each color up in layers to create the final image, like silkscreen print essentially is what we're talking about. And to do silkscreen printing, you need to separate all the colors so that you can make a print from silk of each different color as a layer. So all the colors are separated, and then it just sees them as black and white. So you can use photo emulsion to produce the fill for the press.
I'm going to head out.
Yeah. I mean, that's all it is. So when you see a T-shirt with multiple colors, they've taken an image, they've separated all the colors, and each color gets put into a silk box as a photo emulsion and exposed, and they use a print to cover up the sections of each color. And then that's exposed to the sunlight to dry, and then you can gently rinse photo emulsion, and anything that wasn't exposed or was exposed to the UV falls apart, but what was covered will not, and cooks. So then you end up with the blue layer of this print image forever in this silk screen. And then you stack up your silk boxes. Next thing you know, you've got stuff to make printed art. All right, you can't just get that from a natural image. You have to separate CMYK or CMYK plus. CMYK plus, you guys, since I know Miss News is probably out of your realm now too. CMYK plus means metallic colors, or colors that are not in your normal color hue set. So obviously, Pretty Unicorn Sparkle is not a fucking color, but on a printing press, it's a color. So you can say everything in this range of where this color represents. Say you decide that this dark gray and exact color will be this thing, then they separate that color, and that is color 5 and color 6, or color in color plus plus plus. Normally, you only have 1 or 2 additional, like a metallic foil or something, or gold leafing on printed T-shirts, and that's CMYK plus. You're getting whatever the additional ranges are for those metallic finishes. But other than that, it's CMYK color separation, prints all your colors and gets you everything you need for printing. So you have to have both for a final product. If you're going to make a video game and you want to have, a cover art, that cover art has to be separated so that it can be sent to the printing presses to be printed for the cover so that your cover is correct. And CMYK is very exacting. It's not, you can just take a color and say it's red. You have to double check that that red is in the valid color range of that CMYK printer. Large scale printers do print, but they print separate colors, so then you don't need the silk screen. You can get a Gutenberg to push it through without silk screen. So the whole moral of this story was you can just go back, and if you can use GIMP, GIMP is super easy to learn and use, and will teach you everything you need to understand about image software. And then Blender will let you create 3D meshes. The only thing you should focus on as a new artist is that. If you can produce 2D art in GIMP and get yourself a mesh out of Blender that's usable. Because if you get a usable mesh, then you can step to the next part, which is rigging and animating. And it doesn't have to be complicated now. You can just build yourself a couple little weird shapes, or use the sculpting brush and randomly sculpt your first retarded fucking form so that it has a couple arms, and start learning the process of setting up bones so that they center on the mass. This is all stuff I'm learning myself. I'm teaching myself this, and I know every other aspect of this stuff. So I'm down to what I'm telling you to learn as I'm learning it, but I know the rest and you know none of it. So I'm showing you the secret here right now as you're coming up in your age. That is the keystone.
I think you're underestimating me out a little bit. He's a very firm, good user to Blender, Krita, and GIMP.
Good. Well, I don't know. I'm just talking in general and explaining why all this stuff.
I thought you meant okay.
But CMYK stuff does help a lot, because a lot of the CMYK stuff is like very rudimentary from what I know. Besides like the color palette and the color formatting. Like the color
it's not rudimentary because you have multiple complexities of displays. So here's the issue. On each display technology we currently have, there's a contrast range. If your contrast range is too high for a given display, those pixels will green out. So that does matter a lot, because you might see on your display quality imagery. But if your images are made, say you have a 4K TV, and you build all your textures and assets up to the maximum potential of color depth, which includes contrast for those colors, and then somebody on a 1080p set views it, anything out of range in those dynamic contrast ranges comes up as green pixel. So you can't just assume that shit. You have to actually know and check that you're in a certain color range, even on those. So that's all stuff you'd have to study up on and learn.
Yeah. Like I said, like the only thing I know about is color space and stuff like that, and it seems like beyond that, it takes a lot more knowledge.
Now, basically, it comes down to display technology. You have printed format and then digital display. Digital displays have a contrast range. Printed format has a set contrast range. It's never going to be any different. Our technology does, which makes it a pain in the fucking ass. Because you know that what's on print will never look the same as anything on the screen, and then anything on the screen itself compared to any other screen may or may not present right. So the best thing to do is you use the contrast range of the lowest possible display, the widest gamut of color, and then of course making sure that you have color inclusive art. That way you can say, well, it's the same color in as in print. So if you're going to use a red, and you can, if at all possible, do it, you set that red to the proper hue in game and adjust your gamut setting. And that's going to give you, you know, the digital vibrance, and it'll look good in game, but the color will be matched spot on so that you can output color ready artwork for print. You know what I mean? Like if you pre-plan those thought processes as an inline artist for anything, you are aiding your whole team, whether you're an individual team or a team of 50. I mean, your foresight and acting on those things preemptively solves problems. Also, scaling of images. If you're going to make real images for anything, for real production shit. So say a artwork for a website, and you decide they want a banner ad, 800, you know, by 400 fucking giant ad, whatever. So initially, you're in your mind, you set up an 8 by 400 image and build that image. But then you have to say, what's my PPI? What's my DPI? Do you know what those are by default off the top of your head?
Well,
What's your
300 for most monitors.
Well, what's your default in the software then? Software all defaults to 72. So automatically your software is off. So the first thing you do in templating new software as a digital artist is make sure your DPI, PPI is set up for what you need. First part of templating. Like templating is a process right there you must master. Makes your life easier and more professional to have a template of your process. So you immediately set up a template. You adjust the template to have the proper PPI and DPI, the proper scaling. Then you make templates of that in different size ranges that you know are pre-planned sizes for the. You got
the
overcut
default for
printers.
print is 300. I forgot it's not.
Each printer is different. Each printer is different. You have to look per printer what they're. So there's a direct correlation. You know the difference between PPI and DPI. So you got pixels per inch,
and then depth per inch.
and then dots per.
Or dots.
Now, do you understand? There's huge reasons both of these matter, and they're a wide array of. So ultimately, anything that goes to print is directly correlated PPI to DPI in general practice. Meaning, if you set up a PPI of, 300, that's not going to work on the display. But if it was to print, it would look on a 300 printer set to 300. That would come out correct. Now, that's not what you do, though. You do have to set them up individually per image, and you should not scale image. Meaning that if you're going to work on a project and you want to be an artist and you're going to make a piece of imagery, and you say, well, they told me they want it to be a desktop wallpaper for all their business computers. So you're making one image desktop wallpaper, okay? But what if there's multiple monitors of different sizes and you need consistency? You want their logo to be the same width. Well, now you actually have a bunch of different images you need to be creating. They all are going to have that same image inserted into the middle, but then the widths are different, so you're doing gap filling on them. There's a lot of different imagery involved. Same thing with a program art, right? So when you go in and build software, your software has icons, and you can adjust through Windows your icon scaling. But if you were to go into those icon files and look deeper, you'd see that there is a pre-built set of multiple size imagery of the buttons and stuff for those files, so that if you scale the software or it's scaled on a device, they're still usable. It doesn't magically scale those buttons up and down. It actually says, this is a 16 by 16 button. This is a 32 by 32 button. This is a 64 by 64 button, and so on. And then they're all the same button, and then it tells itself, this display is of XYZ size. If these buttons intersect, use this set of imagery. All right, so that applies to a lot of different things in all of your display technology. So DPI should always be set to match the final printer you're going to run any production artwork on. Okay, so that's a major industry know-how thing. Means that if you know you're going to print on your home printer and it says it's a 300 max or a 600 max DPI, and you're doing photo artwork, you want something really pretty, you need to set everything to match and make sure it's as high as you can squeeze out. Right? But if you're building for screen display technology, you need to know your range of display technologies. Default, the reason it goes to 72 is that matches most standard old DPIs for LCDs of 72 DPI or PPI, right? So you got pixels per inch. If you were to stick a ruler up to your screen and take your head and stick it up there with a magnifying glass, on most sets, that's what it's going to have, is 72 of those little pixels in 1 inch. However, newer tech is moving so quick that many of these new displays have much higher pixels per inch. And in fact, as you're paying for technology, that is the number you look at, not the size of the screen. Okay, if you're going to buy a new display or new something and you have a choice between two, they both maybe say they're the same size and maybe say they're the same resolution. That can't be true. You have to look at the true and look through the specifications and say, what is the total PPI on this unit? And that's really the magic, because there's units out there now that have 800 PPI. All right, so you want a higher pixel range than your possible potential printing range to be a max artist. So if I have a printer that does 600 DPI, but I have an 800 PPI display, and maybe it's 3 inches smaller than the bigger one I looked at, but that bigger one only had a 400 PPI. Now I'm a different level of artist because I actually can see my full resolution and produce proper art and see it in preview and know what I'm seeing. You see, so all those things are aspects of it just to get to that, what we called one piece of. So that's the color and pretty side of it to get it all mastered. And then the big keystone thing ends up, like I said, just being the rigging and the baking out of individual. That is the final part of the pipeline. I refuse to go to Autodesk. I'll learn it there just so I can do it in that software. But I'm going to make Blender be it because I've looked and it's good enough. In fact, I watched a bunch of tutorials this week to double check, and Blender 2.8 is definitely the way to be going to be doing it. So I'm going to be doing it. And Missney, when I get it figured out, I will give you personal tutorials so that you master it as well.
Which one?
Blender for rigging and animating.
The tutorial there is already on YouTube. It's
I've already watched many.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went through and thought
whatever number.
Yeah. But I mean that's the finality of the pipelines for any of it, whether you go into games or into the motion picture. If you can rig and you can animate, the other shit's easy. And that's not hard either. It's just, knowing the system you're in. Everything's got such little nuances, and you have to learn each little nuance so that you can develop your own, your flow, your workflow. I'm left-handed and I have to work in a right-handed world. I can't tell you how weird it is because some softwares I trained myself lefty versus righty, and I actually have to switch the mouse to my left hand to work.
Mishni, did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. I wrote to you, said, hey, I got it.
Oh, okay.
And even wrote thank you. But as soon as I get it tested out and all that, I need to send it over to my boss, so... I'm assuming you still have your same PayPal account, right? You haven't changed that?
Yeah, but honestly, you could just have it for free.
That's not how we work, Meow. If it's something we can use or not, we're still paying for it. It's not about who's right and wrong, it's more like... We do have a lot of different, our reputation out there. It might be weird, but that's because of me, which I really don't care. But we have one thing we do treasure a lot, that is that we always keep our promise to pay people for a certain...
Downloading today's Blender build. Didn't even test yesterday. I downloaded it, unpacked it, and never used it. Now I'm deleting it, so I can just go ahead and do today.
Yeah, you downloaded a test build yesterday, but did you actually get that working?
Every day I run it, Missney. Yesterday I didn't run it. I downloaded, unpacked it, but yeah, I always open up all the assets and the stuff I'm using. That's been redesigned in the late. So yeah, I stay concurrent.
Yeah.
I'm more concurrent probably than
yourself?
some of the other developers because it's every single day I update my build just to make sure I got to know if it breaks.
Do you build it yourself?
I don't think. Mystic, did you hear me out?
What's that?
Do you
He was
build it
asking
yourself?
if you built it yourself.
Am I compiling it off GitHub? No, I'm just downloading the daily build. The daily builds.
Oh,
You shouldn't have to forcefully compile unless you've got an old graphics card that they haven't put in the full kernel. But most of the daily builds, all these graphics cards are covered. You need the link. Yeah, I would be using, if you're not using 2.8 beta, you need to. 279 is going to be foot to fucking ass here momentarily.
I use both. It just depends on whether I need something to be stable or not. Or if there's a tool that hasn't been completely moved over yet. There are some tools that haven't been completely moved over.
Yeah, and there's no backward compatibility. As soon as you open a 279 and 2.8, you ain't going back.
Well, there is a way.
Like, you don't even have to try and save it. You can't open it. I've done it.
You could append it. And pending works still. You just need to make sure you don't get any of the collections. If you get any of the collections, Blender 2.79 will crash.
Yeah, fuck that.
I still hate they removed fly mode. Actually, they didn't. They just changed the shortcut key for that one. But yeah.
Technically made it a little better in 2.8.
Yeah. It's just I just need to get used to it.
The biggest problem with Blender over what you get commercially is commercially there's been a pipeline developed where they forcefully shoved it up your ass, training you with the software to do it. Blender has that feature-rich content and more. The problem is it's also discombobulated. That's why they're trying to get it cleaned up. And there's so many options for the user to pick how they have their workflow pipeline work that you can customize Blender, and two different people's setups, if you were going to sit down, would be completely different. Like, so vastly different, it's not even funny. Oh, I got a doctor's call.
So I finally got to watch that Goblin Slayer series.
Is that any good?
Well, it's only one season. That's one thing I hate about anime. When it's only one season and it's like, hey, where's the next season? Where's the next season? You know, there's no next season. That's annoying.
Well, American cartoons are doing the same too.
There was actually one series from Disney I liked a lot. That was the Tron Legacy.
Oh, Tron is my favorite old movie. Like, for
it was the comic series I was referring to. I have seen the others, but like the comic series, that was really good.
You've seen the original movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that, matter of fact, the original movie's kind of part of the visual inspiration. It's not there yet, but when you see the final city, you'll understand.
Well, I would say the first one back from the 90s, 70s, so it's what, the 80s, that was actually pretty good, even though
Yeah,
it was...
that's the good drama.
Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say the other one, number 2 they made, that was not that bad either, because it kept up with the first one, you know, with storyline and all that, so... Where do we want to go? Sector 8 it is.
All right, got squeezed into the doctor tomorrow.
Having some pains or something?
No, I haven't seen a doctor in years.
Oh.
So I'm just
getting a
now
checkup?
getting back to a doctor for the first time in years.
Oh.
If it ain't broke, there's no reason for doctor to fix it.
I need a dentist, what I need. I got broken teeth, all kinds of shit.
I can fix that pretty easy.
I'm gonna go back to the other channel. Have fun, guys.
So yeah. But no.
Go with it. I wonder if I should make it longer, because right now it feels a little too short. I'm gonna look at my old artwork. Yeah, I made it big. I made the wings. Compare it. Looks like a huge bug. It doesn't look like an owl anymore at all. I wonder if there's a screencast on. Nope, that's not an add-on. Nope. I want to test if it can actually make it fly though. The pin's not move or something? I don't think the pins are moving with it. Oh, still in pose mode, sure. Here are the hooks. Oh! See that? Select. So those are the pins. Bottom was working fine. Front one's having some troubles though. A little bit. Yeah. It might be just easier just to wave than have it not get affected by the edges, but I like how it's coming out. You can't blame me for that. That's fine. It doesn't look too bad. It looks super stiff. Let's add some force builds. First things first, you need wind. Let's add some more strength. You can literally just think. No, you can do that. Or this part. $2,000. Better. Is it just moving because it's too stiff? Oh, it's because it's too strong. I'll just put that. Acting like a fight. Are they too stretched? Can you change the cloth properties? Oh, you used to have presets. No, they don't. I need to fix you because you don't want to follow. So what just happened? Assign all that to a friend. Oh, that's what happened. Let's see what happens if I just delete this. Right, that's the wrong way to delete. Keep that hook. Update already. Oh, yeah. Of course that's gonna happen. What happens if I remove that? Just make all this a pin so it doesn't give me any issues. Spell hook, hook new object. OP object. We gotta add it to the pin, assign. Of course you're gonna do that. There we go. Probably shouldn't have moved it that much, but I'll just keyframe, not key shape. I might just start streaming because, like, I don't know, I'm just getting tired of streaming. Might not even stream anymore to tell you the truth. I feel like it's something that I should do more later, like when I get a whole bunch of viewers, like a whole bunch of followers on Tumblr or something. Right now, nothing happens whenever I stream. I should be focusing more on that than streaming. I don't know, just streaming gets me tired and I don't feel like getting tired anymore. Did I not? Hit. Apply. Oh yeah, I did not hit a sign. And now I say you shall be caught. Someone forgot to tie that up, my dudes. I love because it's almost exactly how it looked like if something were to fall off the ship. Oh my gosh, it's great. I wish if I named something pin, it automatically pin it, but it doesn't. Make it look longer. I need to make it longer. I need to stop like doing this and just make it longer. That's what I need to do. Oh no, double transforms. I know what's causing it, but oh no, double transforms. Some of them have offset on, so that's why it's happening. For you that are curious. On the wing. It looks nearly long enough where I like don't mind it being there. What if I do the press the button that I should not press? Oh, that's what's gonna happen if I press the button that I should not press. Okay, at least that's manageable. I'll just take some fixing. This is why, boys and girls, you make sure you have the wing set up first before you do that. I like just deleting all these hooks. Bye-bye hooks. I almost feel like I'm jerry-rigging this so hard. I'm gonna take a little break.